Okay, so your cheese has now been in the hastening chamber. It's covered itself in mold. You've knocked down any of this white mold with paper towel or just with your finger. I always have white mold on my blue mold cheeses. It's perfectly normal, happens all the time. You can see at the top where I've pierced it. You can see at the bottom where I haven't. What I've got on mine is here, I've got a loose curd. Now I know if I try and scrape that, it's going to fall to pieces. So I'm going to go with the bits that I can scrape. And I'm just going to take off probably 90% of the blue mold. Of course, you remember that mine is bright orange. Now, if you hold around the side, if you hold on to the side of the cheese as you're scraping it, it's less likely to crumble and fall to pieces. She says, as it crumbles and falls to pieces. This piece here, I just know if I try and scrape this too much, it's going to fall to pieces. So I'm going to go round that piece and I'm just going to leave it there. Okay. So we're just taking off the worst of the outside blue. Now you can leave it on, absolutely fine to leave it on. It will make for a stronger cheese. So I'd prefer mine to be scraped before I wrap them, because it gives me a milder blue. This is going everywhere. World's best camera angle, sorry. For anybody wondering, still no baby goats. So the science behind this is when you put the blue mold in, you want it to grow on the outside, and then you want it to grow on the inside because you're poking holes to get the blue mold to go down into the inside. We don't necessarily need there to be more blue mold on the outside after that point, okay? So I've gone all the way around, I've done one side, just gonna do the other surface. It is quite soft, actually. The paste on this is quite pliable. So I am losing some cheese here, but not a vast amount. And the flavor profile that I'll end up with is much better based on having removed this. Okay. All right, so it isn't that pretty anymore. This is called buttering the blue, by the way. You're not using butter. As I said, I'm leaving this one because it's a loose little curd. I'm just going to leave that there, okay? So now we're wrapping in specialty cheese foil paper, if you've got it. I don't. I have tin foil, regular tin foil. Doesn't matter if you go shiny side or flat side, because tin foil is molecularly identical on both sides, all right? So I'm going to stand it on its side. I'm going to roll it. Okay. And then I'm just going to flatten it so that it stays flat. So what this is doing, tightly wrapping this, really tightly wrapping this, is restricting the oxygen. So we've got oxygen down into the cheese already. We've already got the holes in there. We've already let that blue grow down into those holes. Now we've buttered the outside of the cheese by stripping it. And now we're cutting off its oxygen. So the cheese now will continue lipolysis and proteolysis. It will break down those proteins and those fats. So this now can go into my cave at 11 to 13 degrees. For about 4 weeks, it will still be very solid, but the flavor will be mild. If I let it run to an extra 4 weeks, if I let it go 8 weeks in total, then it will start to break down and become gooey and unctuous and fudgy like you would expect.